Homework set number 1 for classes. The first homework is, when we come to drawing applications, we can draw a rectangle and triangle and circle. You are to think about what are the common things between them, these shapes. What is the special behavior in each one of them? You should think in terms of attributes, methods, names, and methods behaviors overall. This question prepare you for a topic that we are about to approach in the next section. The second task is what versus how. To motivate that, let's say that we would like to do the task of summing numbers from 1 to n. Explain two different approaches to implement this task and the pros and cons of every one of them. Now, moving to something like this application, it's mainly for image manipulation. You can crop, rotate, or draw an image. And let's say it's an available application for Android, iOS, iPad, and so on. In terms of what versus how, provide some insights. For example, a method to fill color in rectangle, the what and the how. A method to read image from device, what and how. By what we mean the task itself, like here, the task is summing numbers from 1 to n. So I don't care about how this function is implemented. We can implement things in different ways. Sometimes, like imagine we found a bug in some function in our system, or even a faster way to do it. How to structure our code so that we do the minimum number of coded changes to solve our problem. The only constant thing in industry is the change of requirements, change to fix things, and so on. So this what and how is very important perspective. And also again, this question is preparing us for something to learn about in the next sections. Date versus time. A code review is a very common task in industry. Your colleague wanted to implement a class that should take 6 parameters: day, month, year, hours, minutes, and seconds. And this is how he designed it. A constructor, bunch of items, a lot of methods for the date, a lot of methods for the time. And this code passed unit testing. The unit testing is an important keyword in the software testing industry, in the software development. When we write some code, we have to unit test every functionality in the system. This is how we guarantee that the low level of the system is correct. Now this code passed all of our testing. However, I would like to find and provide a critical design tab for the one who implemented this code. You will observe that many of the homeworks in the OOP section is more about I ask you to provide some code review or design review. Through the projects, you should develop more your design skills, but through this question, you should get a better sense of the design itself. The fourth question is kind of an open-ended question. Let's say that in any of your given tasks, your colleagues didn't like the design or the code that you have. However, you don't think that they have valid points. Think in tips and thoughts on how to handle technical debates with your colleagues, to finish them in a professional way, to minimize the mistakes and the issues as much as you think. This is an open-ended question. Think about it. In a similar way, sometimes, let's imagine this scenario. A fresh software engineer, like you soon, approached the team leader and he told him the following. He had an informal discussion with the customer. And it seems after 6 months, we will need several printing styles and streams for our code, and also maintaining a lot of statistics about every method that we have. Some bunch of future requirements. Now, the developer, the fresh guy, suggesting to implement these extensions from now, to save the time for future for other features. You as a team leader is listening to this proposal from him. Do you accept or reject that? Or do you suggest an alternative, and why? Try to think about that. Software engineering is more about just writing code and more about just designing. It's much more than that. To be a successful person, you have to learn how to handle these things, how to handle debates, and so on. The last thing here I would like to say is about the date and time class. For a while, you might feel a date time class is a very trivial task. However, this task is source of a lot of pain and bugs in software engineering. I'm here attaching several links and a paragraph here to read about this problem. as a good software engineer, you should build background about why that. And there is a lesson here that I would like you to notice. Sometimes you will have an easy task that you think for a while this is an easy task, and then you start to implement it. However, in reality, the task is really complicated and there are a lot of issues that we might face. What I would like to train you here is, when you are facing a task, try to think from different angles for how to solve the problem. Try to think about the pros and cons of each approach. This will learn you how to be a better thinker and someone who has capability of selecting among different choices, and also capability of reviewing and evaluating your colleagues' code and design. Do not be that guy who does just when he is asked to solve a task, just go with the first idea in his mind. The market has too many software engineers that you will go and compete with them. This is a bad news. The good news is most of them are weak. Most of them just got a course from here or there and just learned it and did some basic projects, and that's all. Try to not be that weak guy. Try to think deeper. Try to think from different angles. This is what will make you different compared to them. That's all.